What? I don't know. WPA, why are you changing your names? We know you. You can change. A snake can change, shed its skin over and over. But at the end of the day, we know it is a snake. I know that you don't take snakes. Not that snakes are venomous. And so, come September 1, we have only one choice. And that choice is for continued transformation being led by the People's Progressive Party Civic.
Thank you. First of all, on behalf of the People's Progressive Party, allow me to thank you for coming here tonight. I do not intend to keep you for very long because I know in these days people have many things to do and they have many distractions, and they often make a sacrifice when they come to these meetings because they could be doing something else. And therefore, we greatly appreciate your presence. Now today, I want to speak to you about a few matters. And I know the comrades are excited to wave the flags and blow the horns. But on the Saturday before the elections, we will have a rally at Lusignan. And we need to make that the biggest rally ever that the country has seen. And you'll have a lot of opportunities to wave your flag. So tonight, I just want to talk to you heart to heart. Now, when I was at Bath Sunday, I saw a man climbing the barrier. And he said to me, "You gotta go to Unity." So a person from my village went all the way to Bath to say I should come to Unity, which is in the Mahaica district. And there are many people who have messaged me and said to me, "You have to come home." So when Freedom House tried to schedule me for another area tonight, normally these are large communities where they schedule me to attend. I said, no, I have to go home to the area where I'm from. And I wanted to come home, and I see many of you are from Unity and from the Mahaica district and from King Grove. And we have a massive crowd here compared to the size of these communities. But tonight, I want to talk to you about a few things. What is at stake in these elections? We saw once in our history, 2015, when we made the mistake of believing promises that were made to the people of the country, what the consequences were. We lost government because many of our people stayed home, some who thought that we won the elections even before they voted, and many were misled, particularly rice farmers, sugar workers, because they were lured away by all sorts of fantastic promises. And we nearly lost our freedom because of that one mistake. Our country regressed. Many of our people lost welfare. We lost jobs right across Guyana. Things got slow. There was very little money in circulation. The youth got misled. Many who were promised various things. The children, old age pensioners all suffered. The cash grant was taken away from them. Free water was taken away from our pensioners. Taxation increased to $94 billion more per year. And then in the crucial period after the 2020 elections, there was a massive attempt to rig the elections. And if we did not prevail at that time, many people came to me, many in 2015 and throughout those 5 years, I decided that I wasn't going to get back into politics, left office. But in that period after 2015, I saw that our people across Guyana, people of every race, even people who had voted for APNU, they were starting to lose hope that this country would deliver a good life for them or their children, and that they would not be able to secure a prosperous future for themselves. Many contemplated leaving this country. Many others were just desolate. They were crying in desperation because they thought that we will lose the freedoms that we lost for 30 years under APNU in the Chedi Jagani era. And I assured them, we walked the country with party leaders across Guyana. And we assured them that we'll work hard to win back the elections and that we will reverse all of the acts of discrimination, the air of hopelessness that we experienced. And we did so. We did so. It was a long struggle. And it came out of the commitment of many people. Many of you here tonight walked the streets too. And you played your role in 2020 to secure this country again. And I stand here very proud of the fact that we have fulfilled all of the promises we made to the people when we campaigned in 2020. From labor shortages to today, from unemployment, massive unemployment, to labor shortages. From a situation where every year in the budget there were new taxes, 200 plus taxes were instituted in those 5 years. We have not no new tax in the 5 years that we have been in office. We have given the children of Guyana $11 billion more per year because of the cash grant, 55,000 multiplied by 200,000 children that we have in the school comes up to $11 billion more per year in the pockets of the children. The pension, by doubling it from $20,500 to $41,000 per month, puts in the pockets of our pensioners nearly $20 billion more per year. Public assistance increased by $7 billion more per year going to families. We even now subsidize electricity, $80 million a year, so there was no price increase between 2020 to 2025. We spent billions of dollars to subsidize water, so there was no price increase in the water. We now subsidize fuel. We removed the 50% tax every gallon of gas that you buy. There is a $560 subsidy on every gallon of gas or diesel that you buy. We started developing house lots again, spent $300 billion on 50,000 house lots. We started building homes once again that APNU never did. We paid back the joint services. They're voting in a few weeks' time. The soldiers, the policemen, the firemen, and the prison officers. And they're voting in a few, before the election day. That is the 1st of September. Now APNU is trying to woo them again with all sorts of promises. But those people remember very well that when Granger took it away from them, the 1-month bonus, that is equivalent to $2 billion more per year that they're getting. They're gonna go to vote soon and let Norton tell them how much he loves them now that election is going. They remember. And the people in Linden remember, after all the promises that they made there too, not a single house lot, no development, no jobs. Now they're going to Linden, they love the people once again. Well, they will remember those 5 years, and that's why we have the massive rally right in Linden. The sugar workers are going to remember them when they approach them. The rice farmers too. Everyone, we haven't forgotten those 5 years. And so when they come with promises again, they have no intention of delivering on those promises. The only thing that APNU has going for it, it has no history of achievements and it has no plan for the future. So the only thing that it pushes today is racism, trying to divide our people along racial lines, and that's not going to work in these elections because even Afro-Guyanese who have come to the PPP, the message to them, they call them all sorts of names and say the PPP is going to use you. Well, it's a blatant lie. People understand that. Afro-Guyanese have made more progress under the PPP than they've ever made under any PNC government. And as I was coming here, I drove past Ange Grove and I saw a young Afro-Guyanese woman in her red t-shirt. She had on one of the t-shirts we're wearing tonight, with her baby standing by the bus station there, by the roadhead. And I was thinking how far our country has come and how unifying is the People's Progressive Party. Because we work for all Guyana. We work for Indo-Guyanese, we work for Amerindian Guyanese, we work for Afro-Guyanese, we work for people, mixed Guyanese. Because we know that our country can only achieve greatness and prosperity if all of our people, regardless of their race or their religion, they make progress too, that their families can do well. And that's the difference between the PPP. And that's why if you look at the crowds across Guyana, you will see our crowds are growing. So that's the only thing that APNU can spread today. Division and racism. They've gone back to extrajudicial killing. They're talking about how we discriminate against Afro-Guyanese. That's the usual line. People are not buying it again. And then, on the other hand, what are we fighting against? There's another group. So at Bath Rally, I said that there are 5 parties on the ballot outside of the PPP. 4 of those parties were part of the coalition between 2015 and 2020. So they're all the same. They just change their names now. And then there is another party that was recently formed called WIN by Azruddin Mohammed. And he too has no track record nor does he have any plan for the future. He can't even read his own document that they gave to him. He hides from the media. He hides from press conferences. Your child in primary school could read a document better than he could do. Failed all of his exams, and there's nothing wrong in failing. But when you lie about your qualifications, that's a different matter. And he wants to lead our country. The issue is that he's incapable of even conceptualizing a basic plan or talking about it. How could he lead this country? How could people entrust the future of their children into the hands of people who have no track record of delivery? And then on the other hand, his sole reason for running now is because the United States government sanctioned him. He was accused by Reuters of money laundering, drug trafficking, and gold smuggling. He was now recently accused of murdering people. And tonight, the foreign minister in an interview, Hugh Todd, our foreign minister, spoke about the Mohammeds going to the Venezuelan embassy frequently. Now you recall about 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, some US congressmen tweeted and issued statements that Mohammed is linked to Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, and he puts Guyana's territorial integrity at risk, and they denied it. Well, now there is evidence of him actually going to the Venezuelan embassy, and the Venezuelan ambassador, when summoned by Minister Todd, he said, oh, they'll just apply for a visa. It may be much more than application for a visa. It's a more deep-seated connection. We have to explore that link. They put our country at risk. And therefore, in these elections, we have to be very careful, because people, APNU, AFC, cannot go back to any communities. Nobody believes them and the other parties. They went to Comaka today in Mabaruma, and Granger and Juretta Finance, they were talking to themselves. And then they hug up some of the win candidates there. They're connected. And their sole purpose in these elections are to mislead people, to have them either stay home or vote for them. They're hoping, they know we will win the presidency with the massive numbers we have. They're hoping that they will bring us below 50%, like what happened in 2011 in the parliament, so they can block all of our programs. Well, that's not going to happen. Not with the support that we have across the country. Who in your right mind would want to go back to those days when they had no vision, no plan for the future? They had no capacity to implement the basic of plans. Who would want to ever risk the future? Not the Indo-Guyanese, not the Amerindians, not Afro-Guyanese, not mixed Guyanese. No Guyanese will ever want to risk their future by going back to the past. And who would want to risk your future by voting for a man, Nazaruddin Mohammed, that will bring down sanctions on you and our country? Look what happened to all the people who were linked to him going up to the US. They all lost their visas. People connected with him now lost their bank accounts, because nobody no bank in the world will conduct business with them because they would lose their correspondent banking relationship with the United States of America. And if that happens, then the banks might as well shut down, all of these banks in Guyana. So not one of them will do business with him or anyone associated with him. And you've already seen it happening now. So we only have one choice. That is the People's Progressive Party. As the only choice. So these 5 years, the last 5 years have not been easy. We've been on the road almost every day. We've stayed in our offices working hard day and night to put together plans for 12 new hospitals that you heard from Frank that are now being built and opened. We put together all the highways, the plans for the highways and the bridges that you see being built and all the community roads. We've now been rehabilitating playgrounds across the country, building new sporting facilities for people. We now have 60,000 more people working. We have our children's education advancing, 39,000 scholarships. And you know what? These didn't take place in 5 years because the first 2 years when we got into office, this country was shut down because of COVID. And sometimes people forget that. We were battling to save lives at that time, scouring the world, procuring vaccines, getting people tested, making sure they got the care in the hospital, sharing out masks, reopening the economy in incremental ways. The first 2 years was lost to COVID. So all that you see happening in Guyana, the changes that have been taking place at such a rapid pace, these have taken place in 3 years. Just imagine what in 5 years we can do. I didn't sleep last night, so I need to drink some water. So, let me talk to you about the future. Because when you're here, we're not just a party that speaks of the past. The past under APNU was difficult. People here are smart. They know what their choices are. They know what happened to this country, and they know that the PPP has been throughout the years, from the time we took office, we took an insolvent country, a bankrupt country. That was the period when Shadi Jagan was president. I was Minister of Finance in those days. We were using over 100% of revenue to service debt, a bankrupt country, and we restored it to viability, to solvency, and today we have the fastest growing economy in the world. That's what our track record is. As someone said, you talk to your relatives abroad. Every one of them is looking for a piece of land now to come back home to. Many have come back and collected a cash grant here in Guyana from abroad. Many people want to come here and look for work. I was coming down the road and I saw several Venezuelans walking down the road here. And I'm thinking all the way to Mahaica. People are coming here. There was a time when we were fleeing this country to Venezuela and Suriname and other places to look for work. So we have changed this country, and we've changed it in a relatively short period of time. And what do you expect in the next 5 years? What are we saying to people we will implement? We said already if we are going to be removed, please let the horns, I want you to hear. So please ease down a bit on the horns. Right? So if we make university education free, which we have already done, and the technical subjects, they are going to the technical institutes, etc., we have made free. We have increased the children grant. We're now paying for CXC 8 subjects for every child. We have given scholarships, 39,000 scholarships. We've trained another 42,000 people. We have trained over 5,000 teachers in the last 5 years. What are we going to do more in education? We've built 100 schools. Well, in the next term, we're going to continue to support families. So when you have a child in Guyana, you're going to get a transportation grant for every child, and it's going to be a substantial sum of money. Every child you have, you're going to get a transportation grant. And apart, I see some of the comrades coming in now. Okay, let's ease on the horn. Let's talk about the business, so what you can get in the next 5 years. So that's what I want to talk about, what people can expect they will get. So every child will get a transportation grant. Next Monday, we will tell you how much they will get, the transportation grant will cost. And because the care grant will increase from 50,000 per child substantially, and on Monday you're going to hear what sum it will increase by. We're going to ensure that those on public assistance, they get a substantial increase in public assistance. The pensioners are going to see a massive increase in pensions also. You're gonna, in housing, we are going to make sure that we continue to work to get a house lot to everyone who needs a house lot. And two, people are gonna start getting help directly to build homes and to improve their homes, especially poor families, so they can get help. The next term, your electricity price will be cut by 50%. And the electricity will be stable because of the investment. So your electricity bill will go down by 50% because the rate will be cut. We'll be able, from our own factory, to produce or plant to produce all the cooking gas that we import now. We'll start exporting cooking gas. So you would see a decrease, a substantial cut in cooking gas prices. That will make a big difference. You're going to continue to get cash grants, like the $100,000 periodically. People are going to continue to get cash grants in the next term. The baby one will continue, of course. Frank just remind me. So that's for people who are starting new families or have a baby. Like so, today even I got a call from one of our activists in Region 1. And he said there are 4 Venezuelan women who have the check now because their babies were born in Guyana. Many Guyanese fathers. But they can't change the check because they don't have the documentation. And I said to them, if the babies are born in Guyana, then we should give them the money to the cash because these are children born in Guyana. We will continue to subsidize gasoline and diesel to keep the costs down like we're doing now. We have the lowest gasoline and diesel rate in the entire Caribbean. What else can you expect in the next term? There are going to be massive support for business, small business development. So in each community, we have started building roads already, the concrete roads, and you see them. And we have about 5,000 local contractors, many small people who get local contracts. In Linden, I was there, 700 persons from Linden got work totaling $11 billion. On the East Coast, in Berbice, in Essequibo, in the Amerindian communities, everywhere people are benefiting from contracts. We're going to start building concrete drains in these communities once we finish the concrete roads. We'll be able to give maybe another 5,000 people small contracts, so we can have 10,000 small contractors earning, making money, etc. in their villages, etc. In each of these villages, we promise that every playground right across Guyana, every playground will be upgraded, lights will be installed, and other facilities so the children in that community and elderly people can enjoy it as recreational facility. In every village and every ward in the city and every town in Guyana, that's going to be done. In all the communities, we're going to put street lights. We already ordered 100,000, only 4,000 came in. We're going to put security cameras in the communities. We have to start clearing the garbage and picking up the garbage so we can have cleaner communities and secure communities. So just imagine your village having good roads, concrete drains, good playgrounds. You have security cameras. You have well-lit streets. And you're picking up the garbage that every community can start changing for the better. The houses will improve because people can get help to improve their houses, especially poor families. That's what the next term will focus on. So people need to look at these things. More jobs, better paying jobs. The rice farmers here in Mahaica and Cane Grove and other areas can look forward to a future of continued support for the rice industry. We wouldn't do like APNU did to the rice farmers and the sugar workers and them gold miners when they put a ton of taxes on them and caused them to lose jobs. Even in their stronghold in Linden, in the Kwakwani Berbice River, 1,000 bauxite workers lost their jobs because of the inept policies of APNU. So they can expect greater help. The miners will expect greater help. The fishermen, including from my village, they will get better, more help. Every group of Guyanese who is working, generating income for their families, they can expect to get support, policy support. Lower taxes. We already said we'd lower income tax. Look at what we did in the last 5 years. Income tax threshold was $65,000 in 2020. Now it's $130,000. So if you earn under APNU $66,000 a month, you have to start paying taxes. Now you have to earn $131,000 per month before you start paying taxes. In addition to that, we have given $50,000 per month tax-free for people working overtime. If you have a second job, you get another $50,000 per month. So if you're working in these categories, you could earn $230,000 without paying taxes now per month. And that's income tax. Then we added a credit for each child. If you have 2 kids, you can claim $10,000 per month tax-free on your income for these kids. This is what happened in the last 5 years. we're just going to keep lowering the taxes so people who work can keep more of the money that they earn. That is, we said we lower taxation on vehicles, outboard motors for those who live in the riverine areas. Like I saw some of the guys came out with a boat. All of these things are promises that we make, not promises, commitments. When we have great credibility. That's why we go to these elections with so much trust from the various sections of our population, because everything we promise in 2020, we work to deliver. And 2030, when we come to campaign, we want to say, we deliver all the things that I'm speaking about here tonight. You're gonna see a changed Guyana. Imagine being able to drive from the border with Brazil on a 4-lane road, from Suriname, on a 4-lane road, coming across a high-span 4-lane bridge across the Barbies River. And Region 4, the new 4-lane road here connecting with the 4-lane we're building here, all the way to the airport, and then to Parika, and then from Supanam to Charity again, upgrading the whole country. You're gonna see shopping malls spring up everywhere. Service centers, business development will grow across Guyana. We will assist small businesses by putting in place a development bank so that they can get 0 interest rate loans for starting small businesses. And many people want to start small business, but they don't have the finance for it. That is going to be part of what we're planning for the next term. We're opening up more lands for farmers. Right here in Region 5, you recall here too on the Mahaica Kango stretch, I used to travel in this creek with Chetty Jagan. At that time, I had more here. You know, Norton speaks about my bald head a lot. And I was in my 20s going with him in the river, and every time, every rainy season, when the Conservancy Dam was threatened, we had to release the water into the Mahaica Creek, because if the dam broke, the whole East Coast and Georgetown would be flooded, that Orton Dam. So that was the safety valve, and every time we did that, because there was no empoldment along the banks of the river, the water just flowed across all the way to Abari and flooded out people there. They lost millions of dollars of income because their rice fields were flooded. When I started, we didn't have oil at that time, and we started building the Hope Canal. APNU was against it, the GAPE was against it, the Human Rights Organization. Since we built that Hope Canal, we can release the water now directly into the Atlantic, so we don't have to flood people here any longer. This is the big change here. And it has safeguarded the whole of the East Coast, that Hope Canal. The next term, we plan to build a huge water treatment plant at Hope, so that we can treat surface water, the water that we push into the Atlantic, like what we do in Georgetown and the Shelter Belt, and then supply that treated water right along the East Coast and all here in Region 4, maybe even skipping across to Region 5. So then people would have improved water, because the water in the well now, if you supply from the well, it has the high iron content and the rust. There's so many plans that I can speak of that will change this country for the better. Nicer homes, people living in safety, having more leisure, earning more income, the poor families getting direct help from the government, transforming our country, building a deep water port, expanding the oil and gas sector, expanding agriculture, smart agriculture, we're building another Hope-like, in fact, several Hope-like canals in Region 5 and 6 now, and in Region 2. that will open up right here in 55,000 acres of land that we can then distribute to small people to go into agriculture. These are major, major things that we have for the next term. I can stand here and talk all night about the plans, and I will still wouldn't conclude about what we have to do. The East Coast, you would see now, once the 4-lane road is completed, and we're building now a high-power grid. So right now, we're transmitting power from Georgetown all the way to Berbice on these lantern posts next to the road, the railway embankment. Every time a vehicle hits one of those, and we have more vehicles, we're importing 40,000 vehicles per year now. And if one of the vehicles hit there, a whole line of people get blackout all the way to Berbice. So what are we doing? At the back soon here, you would see coming across here from Georgetown, from Eccles, all the way to Berbice, these huge steel towers that will move the transmission mains onto those towers so that we can then secure, we don't have to worry all the time about blackouts. You'd see an improvement of the electricity grid. There'll be another road being cut from the bypass road, the Ogle bypass road coming up the East Coast. So we'd have several lanes going into Georgetown, 4-lane on the railway embankment, another 4-lane, we'd have to upgrade the remaining part to 4-lane on the main road, and then maybe another 2-lane coming down the back so people can move faster. Already, as I said before, at Enmore now, with a new hospital there, you'd be able to improve access to get to that hospital with high quality care, 3 operating theaters. You'd have a CT scan there. You don't have to go to the city any longer. You have good quality care whilst we improve the other local health centers. A lot of these things are going to happen in the next term. As I said before, we have had 3 years after COVID. And anyone who walks this country now would have seen a very different country than what was there under APNU. I remember so many things. You know, the taxi drivers used to come to me and say, well, I don't know why they ban used tires. The first thing that APNU did when they got into office was to ban used tires. And you know why? Because 2 of the guys who were giving them money used to import new tires. So they preferred that thousands of Guyanese who could have only afforded a used tire had to go without it because they wanted to help 2 persons. We reversed that ban. The miners, if they had to take in 2 gallons of gasoline into the interior diesel, they had to get a special permission. You remember the curfew? They imposed a curfew. When people are just going out to party at night, that's when you're shutting down the country. They were just oriented differently, never focused on development. And now Norton comes along again, and Norton speaks about, oh, he's going to do this and he's going to do that. When, listen to run a country, you need experience. Norton's only experience, you know, there's a place called Bamba Mali in Georgetown. Norton goes and takes his drink there a lot. So in 2015 to 2020, Norton had a job called Empowerment Advisor. But he didn't have a physical office. His office was at Bamba Mali. That's the experience he has. He's now, if you got a shop, any of you got a shop, you wouldn't hire Norton to run your shop. Right? And you wouldn't want him to run your shop, he'd run it down. And then Juretta Finance, who is a prime ministerial candidate, she was Nagamutu's secretary. Look at Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips ran the army, kept our country safe. He's our prime ministerial candidate. The experience. And then guess who? Mai Paul is their vice presidential candidate. Mai Paul was busy hustling money at UG and working in a junior job at the Ministry of Local Government. How could you be serious Even if they had the best plans in the world, can you put your future into the hands of people who never ran anything before? They will imagine the first day they go into office, if they were to win, they'd die from a shock. When they see the complexity of the task and what you need to do to run a country, how many various things, and putting in hard work every day, and you have to deal with multiple issues from national security to border related to economic development, social upliftment, to tackling vulnerable groups, and you have to be on the ground too. Nothing of the sort. I already dealt with Azruddin Mohammed earlier. He can't even read the piece of paper that they give him from time to time. He's even worse than Norton. He's worse than Norton. And I say, you know, he goes to London, like today he was at Line Path in Scotland. So the guy sent me a couple of pictures, and he picks up people from about 5 villages, ended up with 40 people there from 5 different villages. He has a touring group entourage, and then he'll post a picture tonight to say, Line Path with the 40 people behind me. That is what he's done. He's been doing to people, misleading them all the time. The youngsters, he pays a lot. You saw, they promised the young lady $50,000 to go to the nomination day. She went to collect it. Doggy beat her up because she went to collect her money. Beat her up, and then he tried to cover it up. You saw that too. So, what happens when the 50,000 is over? And what happens when the US really acts on the sanction? Because they will act on the sanction. He's not going to be around to give you anything more. And then he's evaded 11 billion in taxes in 5 years, which he'll have to pay after the elections. He gives out about $200 million of houses, 50 houses, and then thinks we must be grateful to him. But he leverages this a lot. So young people sometimes are misled because they live on social media. They live on there and they think that what they see there is real. Half of the time these guys spread a ton of rumors, lies. Anybody could now go on social media and say anything that they want. But when it comes to running a country, you look around, look at the landscape. Which other group of people, not Amanza, not Simona Brooms, not Nigel Hughes, not Norton, that's the 4 political parties, and not Azruddin Mohammed. It's a Fanali and Mark Phillips and the People's Progressive Party. We are going to work to make sure that everyone, young and old, regardless of your race, people find a home in this family, the PPP family. That's how we are. And we push people. We want them to achieve things. We want people to own properties. We want them to own a vehicle. We want them to get a contract or a job or do something for themselves. And you're going to find the government standing right behind you on all of these matters. We're going to, as I said before, your children, you don't have to worry about their education in the future. You would not have to worry that if you get sick, you can't get the best care in the world. Because even if we can't deliver it at the regional hospitals, we're building now a children and women hospital, maternal and pediatric hospital in Georgetown that would look at specialized cases for women and children. A few weeks ago, a group of people from the city council came to see me, and I said to support us in the PPP. And I asked them, did you see the new hospital that's being built at Ogle around the bypass? And they said, no, we see a hotel going up there. The hospital looks like a hotel. It's costing us 160 million US dollars so our women and children can get the best care in the world. That is what you can expect. And it's happening everywhere. The Amerindian communities too are seeing major developments in their areas. Amerindians across regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, here in St. Cuthbert and Mahaica, all of them have seen transformation in their villages. They've received from the LCDS funds alone $14 billion in the 5 years, apart from other development. Hinterland children can get the same opportunities now that coastal children get. The health care that we are going to enjoy on the coast will be enjoyed by people who live in our interior too, because we are for all of our people. So when you vote PPP in these elections, you're voting for a party that has demonstrated that it's trustworthy. And trust is the biggest thing that a political party can claim. That's your currency, that's like your money. If nobody trusts you to do what you say you will do, then they will never support you. And you can't trust APNU. They betrayed everybody, including their own supporters in 2015. We've kept faith with the country. We go with great trust. And because of that trust, you know that everything I spoke of here tonight, everything that we will deliver on them, helping all of our people. So I want to thank you again. It's good to come home back to these areas. I don't get to do so often. And sometimes people believe, oh, I don't want to spend more time in the areas. But running government, if you're really interested in people's welfare, you work, sometimes the days and nights merge into one. Your weekends disappear because you focus on changing our country. And that's what we in the People's Progressive Party have been doing. We've been working diligently hard for the last 5 years to keep our country safe from COVID and then to change it. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight as I started this when I spoke. Thank you for coming. Some of you came from, I see some comrades came from Victoria and Annandale South too, and then Annandale North. I see some of the comrades here. They came from a far away too, to join us. And I know now that this crowd has built up massively. I thought I'm coming home to speak to only people from the area. And I know you came to have a good time. You're going to have a good time at our rally at Lusiknan. Please come there. Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a safe trip home. Thank you.